Good morning, mighty, mighty Tigers! We're back at this hallowed ground again for a very special occasion. We're going to ask everyone to come around this area. If you can get you a seat. If not, we'll be standing. We know it's hot out here. And we'll have each speaker as they come to do 2 or 3 minutes. We're so grateful for this moment. We give praise to God. We give praise to the Hernando Central High School class of 1969, which spearheaded this, and then we partnership with the Hernando Central High School alumni, and we made it a great vision, and it's being given birth to today. So as our speakers come, we'll just ask everyone to be obedient in accordance, and let's have a great celebration. I've been excited and in tears all the week. We'll now have our prayer by Mr. Carl Hurt.
First of all, I'd like to say good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
We're going to seek the Lord in prayer. We bow, please. Eternal God, our Father. Father God, we thank you. We thank you for what you have done. We thank you for what you are doing. Father, we just thank you for what you're going to do. Father, we just ask you to bless us with the blessings you see we stand in the need of. It's not about our wants. It's about our needs. So, Father God, just take care of us. Father God, we thank you for this day of this celebration. I'm so happy and proud to see so many people from all walks of life that came out to Hernando Central for this dedication. So, Father God, we just ask that you would just bless us. It's not for a show or fashion or anything like that. It's just to give you glory because you're worthy. Father, with these few words, I thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Now be favored by our welcome by Mr. Tom Ferguson, the Honorable Mayor of Hernando, Mississippi. Give him a hand.
Good morning. Good morning. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today for this historical moment that all of you Andrew know has really spearheaded and put together. We appreciate his effort and all this. I do remember this school back at that time. I was in the 1st grade. After that, I don't know if a lot of y'all know me. Y'all may know my father, N.C. Ferguson. That was actually Chevrolet. So as years come on, now I am the mayor, so I'm very pleased and honored. But this is a very wonderful event, restoring and honoring our heritage of this great city that we're in and the town it was and where we are today. We do appreciate each and every one of you being here and everybody that put this together. This is a great honor. Thank you very much.
I will read the proclamation from Hernando, from the city of Hernando. Proclamation. Whereas Hernando Central was the first black school built in DeSoto County during the equalization period, and whereas when the state tried to preserve segregation to more fairly distribution resources to black and white schools, whereas designed by architect Walker C. Jones Jr. of Memphis, Tennessee, and built in 1958, the school included 1st grade through high school grades. Whereas Mr. James Thomas McLeod was the first principal, the mascot was a tiger, and the team colors was purple and gold. Whereas in 1970, while Mr. R.C. Lehman was principal, the school was integrated. Whereas it is now called Old Grove Central Elementary. Moreover, be it resolved that I, Tom Ferguson, Mayor of the City of Hernando, do hereby proclaim May 25th, 2019 as Hernando Central School Day. I will call out the name of our speakers, and as they come in the order as each one exits the podium. It's Mr. Corey Shelton, Superintendent of Minnesota County Schools. Present.
Right now, ma'am.
Mr. Stanley Purple, then Miss Dorothy Ann Smith-Finger, Miss Georgine Johnson Patton of the Hernando Central alumni. They will come in that order.
Man, great crowd. This is awesome. First of all, I want to apologize. We just got done with graduation. We had a 10 o'clock graduation this morning. And if any of y'all know Mr. Miller really well, when he called, we set up the time for this morning. And he said, we're going to do this on Saturday morning of Memorial Day weekend. And I said, well, we've got a graduation that morning. Is there any way we can adjust the schedule? And he said, no, we're going to do it Saturday morning, Memorial Day weekend. I said, yes, sir. I'll be here whatever time you tell me you want me to be here. So where is Mr. Miller? Where are you? There you are. I didn't see you coming in. Mr. Miller is a great gentleman and an important member of our Hernando community. I have the utmost respect for him, and he's done such a wonderful job of organizing this project. Let's give him a big round of applause for all of his hard work. But I know Mr. Miller really well. He wouldn't want to take any of the credit for this, because I know that it was a team effort. I want to thank everyone who was a part of this and making sure that this historical marker took place. When Mr. Miller approached me about this project, it was actually about a year and a half ago, and I went to our school board members about it and asked their opinion. They said absolutely, they wanted to make sure and get this done. And so I want to introduce our school board members at this time, if they haven't already been introduced. I see most of them are here. Miss Sheila Riley right there, if you can wave to the crowd. Miss Sarah Doss Thomas, our school board president right there, representing Hernando. And Miss Ann Jolly right there. And are any other board members here? Okay, but they voted unanimously to support this project, and so we want to thank them for doing that, and want to thank our current Oak Grove Central Elementary School principal, Miss Stacy Pirtle, who's right here in the front row, for helping get everything organized. And also, I just want to say this, and I know we have several speakers, and this is a big day, but when you see the marker and you see the years that are on there, you'll see that it encompasses 12 years. It talks about the 12 years that the school was in its existence at the beginning. But the impression that I want everyone to have today is the fact that even though there are only 12 years marked on that marker, this legacy is living forever. Here we are 49 years later standing in front of this school. And that speaks volumes to the alumni of this high school. And so I want to commend you for all of your hard work over these years and the legacy that you've left behind. And I believe that as superintendent of education, as board members, and as the principal, it's our job to make sure that that legacy lives forever. And we will do that for you. Congratulations on the marker. It's a wonderful achievement. Congratulations on all that's been accomplished over the years, and God bless you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so excited you're all here today. Welcome to Oak Grove Central, but welcome back to Hernando Central School. In the summer of 1983, my parents moved us from Memphis. My dad was a policeman in Memphis, and we lived in South Memphis my whole life, and we moved from Memphis to the Hernando community. I was an 8th grader, and this was my school. This building is where I met lifelong friends and built relationships with educators that helped shape who I am today. Not only did I attend here, but my husband and both of my children attended school here as well. In 2004, I returned here as a teacher at Oak Grove Central as a special education teacher. And although I only served here 1 year, it was an honor to come back to where I considered home. In 2017, I was honored to be named as principal of Oak Grove Central Elementary. This place is home to me, and as it is to many of you. This building is full of history and traditions and so much character. And though she is 61 years old, and she very often shows her age, Oak Grove Central is very beautiful. Each year, we have a theme for the school year. This year, our theme was taken from a children's book called The Dot, and it encourages each of us to make our mark. And I don't believe that we could have chosen a more fitting theme for the school year. The students, educators, and staff that walk the halls of Hernando Central Schools made their mark on this community and continue doing so through their lives that they are living now and that they have led. I pray that the students and staff here at Oak Grove Central continue that legacy and that greatness that was once Hernando Central. It is such an honor to be with you here today and to share in this occasion as Hernando Central once again makes its mark on the Hernando community. Thank you.
Big step. It was really nice being here today. I am so excited. 3 or 4 things that's happened to me that I just really cherish in my life. And the first thing was here we were going to get a school. I started out over at Second Baptist. Remember that, Irma? And the kids in the front had English for me, like this big group right here. The one on this side was learning math, and the one on this side was learning science. And then we heard that we were going to get a school. We were so excited. One of the most exciting times in my life. And then the next thing was when they brought the teachers down to see the school. It was so big. We had been in Second Baptist Church in that little raggedy building right below it. We didn't know how to walk down the hall. It was so big. We were stepping high. And then the next exciting thing to me was bringing the children in. You're talking about excited. Everybody want to know, where's my room? Where's my room? Where am I going to be? We had the elementary department. We had the high school department. And guess what? I was the librarian with no books. So we all had to get out and try to get some books up. And then we had to know how to classify those books and how to put them in the right place. Well, I didn't know. They made me the librarian. I had to find out, didn't I? So I went to Peabody in Nashville, and I went to Tennessee State, and I got a degree in library science. So then after I got my degree, that was during the time I was teaching. We went there in the summer to get qualified to be a librarian. We were so proud to have one. And then what do we have to do next? We got the library, we got the building, we got the library. We had to have some books. We didn't have any library books. We didn't have books they could check out and carry home and read. So all of us got together and tried to get up some books. And then we had to classify those books. Well, I had learned that because I went to school, so I could learn and be a good librarian. And we got the little kids' books all together, and they were so excited. I don't even know we had a book for each child or not. But they were excited because it was a library. And then today, this is really exciting. And I appreciate you all so much for doing this. Because as the business know that we were very good friends. I was a very good friend of her husband. He liked my mom a lot because every time you want something to eat or want some lunch, she would have it here for him. She was a very good cook, and he liked her food. But it's just so happy being here today and seeing my former students and seeing all of you. And I could go on forever, but I know you don't want me to because I see people fanning and the umbrellas up. And I see all of my 9th grade students here, and they were really smart during that time. I didn't know they were so smart because in the church, they were learning English and math and everything else. So my class was held in the library. I taught English in the library. And they were coming in and out getting books, and we were trying to read stories. We did a little everything in the library. We even sold some snow cones, trying to raise some money. I wasn't going to tell that part, but we did. So this is a very exciting day. And one of my former students, Miss Jardina, told me 100 times, don't you talk too long because I know you're long-winded. So I think she gave me 3 minutes. But I could go on forever up here, Irma. I enjoyed every minute of it. And this is so exciting to be here and for me to still be here and still have a good mind. See my students around here today. So I want to thank you so much, and this was really, really one of the best ideas I've seen to help us all to come back together again. I see so many of my students here, and this is a very, very happy day for me. Thank you. I'm going to cut it short.
Hello. Hello. I'm going to read a short bio of our second principal, Mr. R.C. Lehman. Mr. R.C. Lehman was born to John and Lula Lehman in 1970 in Charleston, Mississippi. Mr. Lehman was their 15th child. He received his high school diploma from Rust High School. He received his bachelor's degree from Rust College, Hollis Springs, Mississippi. Graduate study was done at Tennessee State University, Texas Southern University, and Indiana University, Bloomington. His community service as an educator included Cochram Elementary School, Vice Principal, Delta Center High School, Vice Principal, and Hernando Central School, Principal from 1960 until 1970. Mr. and Mrs. Lehman put 6 children through high school and 5 of them graduated from college. He was a member of Centenary United Methodist Church for 31 years, where he was Sunday school teacher and president of Centenary Methodist Men's Ministry. Mr. Lehman passed away on February 3rd, 1983. Hello. Hello. It's got third on here. I read what I saw. Correction, February 13th. My name is Geraldine Johnson Patton. I am a proud alumni of Hernando Central School. One of the proudest days of our lives was in November of 1958 when we left the shanty that we had as a school and came over to this building. No one can imagine how proud we were to have indoor plumbing. We were so very proud of this building that we learned how to run that buffer. And that buffer would get away from a grown person. But all of us in the class of 1961 knew how to run that buffer. We didn't want a spot of dirt anywhere in our school. As a representative of the Alumni Association, Willie Clark, our president, was unable to be here, so I am taking his place. But we commend you that you finally recognized our school, and we will go down in history as the first African American public high school in DeSoto County. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all those officials and our school alumni and our teacher of Hernando Central High School. Now we're bringing up the family of our first principal, who was here approximately 3.5 years. And that's the family of Mr. McGlowan. We'll bring up his son and his daughter. His son, Dr. James Thomas McGlowan II, MD, and his daughter, Miss Deborah Buford, at this time.
Hi, thanks to everyone for being here. So, I'll keep this brief. My father was born in 1917, and at age 17, he became a teacher and a minister. So, starting in 2nd grade, 3 statements which define his legacy to me were stated weekly. He always told all of us, and me specifically as well, as many of you, obtain the highest education possible. Society must respect this, whether people like you or not. It must be respected. He also taught me the concept of the riddle of the minds, and it goes like this. He told me, he would say, Jimmy, small minds talk about people. Medium minds talk about occurrences and events, and those things are okay. But great minds talk about things that not yet existing, things that are to exist. and to concentrate on that realm of existence. He also told me his favorite poem from a Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, born in 1807. Heights of great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, toiled upward throughout the night. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests and friends, my mother Alberta, my siblings Brenda, Carolyn, James, Angela, all of our family members here today, and those that couldn't manage to be here because of illness or for whatever reason. We all want to take this moment to thank you for joining us. I thank you as well. Professor James McGlowan, also known as Prof, a trailblazer, left an unforgettable mark on the world through his masterful leadership and uncompromising humanity. He was truly a pioneer and leader in education. He was an exceptional visionary and one with great courage, who created a path of generations of professionals, many of whom he mentored in a way they never saw possible. Professor McGlowan flourished in the struggle of making the impossible possible. One such example was building Hernando Central. He was very much a bridge builder, known for pioneering programs and leaving a place better than he found it. His incredible influence has changed lives for generations forever. Throughout his career, our father was outspoken about being a productive member of society. To our father's very last days, his life was instructive. He taught us the value of education, dignity, humor, and kindness. The horizons he saw were bright and hopeful even during the very difficult times, such as the 1950s when he decided no more holding school in church, as our black children deserve better, thus we must do better. His optimism guided many of you or your ancestors, as us, in believing that anything was possible. He was one to believe that service to others is noble and necessary. One could serve with integrity and hold true values like family and faith. He always recognized that by serving others, the giver's soul was enriched. To us, he was the brightest of 1,000 points of light. In victory, Professor McGlowan shared credit. When he lost, he shouldered the blame. He accepted that failure is part of living a full life, but had the philosophy that one should never be defined by it. His success demonstrated how setbacks can actually strengthen you. I was actually reading the biography the other day of the literary great and Nobel Prize winner William Faulkner, and came across, just by coincidence, the name James McGlowan. Piqued my curiosity. I'm like, I know that name. William Faulkner was keeping track of Oxford Negroes. Nearly a dozen years before our father was the principal of Hernando Central, Faulkner noticed the energy and ambition of young James McGlowan. I quote from his biography: "The principal of the Negro High School at Hernando, Mississippi was one of those Faulkner saw as leaders of their race in the crucial times ahead." So you guys don't even know it, but you're already in history in that literary greats book. So, nearly $3,000 of the Nobel Prize money that Faulkner won went on to advance Professor McGlowan's education at Hampton Institute. Wow. Now, William Faulkner in his brilliance was on point. And now, Professor McGlowan will take his rightful place in our nation's history. We are here today because of the Hernando Central High School's committee diligent work on this significant commemoration. The unveiling of the historical marker reflecting the history of the Hernando Central the first public school to offer secondary education to black children in DeSoto County. Professor McGowan's work is a premier example of how history that we can turn to is also inspirational. So if you are blessed, I say if you're blessed, yes, you will come across the life of Professor McGowan only once in your lifetime. He made a landmark difference because of his bold strength, brilliance, truths, passions, and intense quest for transformation. He has provided each one of us the blueprint to make a difference and to stand on principles of social change which can improve lives of others forever. In closing, in the words of Principal James Thomas McGowan, our Father who we love so dearly, we have been called upon to be servants, a friend, and a good citizen. I have a question for each of you. Are you answering that call?
Thank the McGowan family for being here and sharing in this great day. We also have the family of our second principal, longest tender principal, Mr. R.C. Lehman. His family is here, and they're going to come at this time. Most of us remember Mr. Lehman. I remember Mr. Lehman. I think he was here the first class that graduated under his leadership was the class of 1961, I believe, in my record and infinite mind. But as I bring up the Lehman family, we're going to bring up his son and daughter-in-law, William and Marie Lehman, and his other son, Mr. Carl Lehman, as they come and speak to us about their dad and his life and legacy here at Hernando Central High School. Let's cheer them as they come.
First of all, I want to give thanks to the mayor and the family, and all that showed up today. I don't have a whole lot to say. You caught me off guard in one sense, and in another sense I thought I might have to say something. But I don't know a whole lot to say. I went in the field of education, but having lived in the family, I realized how important education is. In the world in which we live. It's extremely important. It's the last bastion for the working class, the working people, and all of it. Again, I want to give thanks to everybody that showed up. May the Lord bless you.
Okay. I don't have a speech. I really going to adhere to the 2 minutes or less time period. I think we all be thankful for that. I have a theme, and the theme is motivation. That's why you're here today. My father and mother, Ethel Lehman and Richard C. Lehman, they were great motivants. And the reason why is that they came up the hard way, and they made sure that we understood how difficult life can be if we don't prepare. And this is why when I decided to quit college after my second year, he asked me a good question. He asked me, well, how are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to clothe yourself? Where are you going to live? Because I surely wasn't going to live there and not finish college. So I went back, got on the dean's list, got on the president's list, and had 2 jobs when I graduated. I chose teaching because he told me that was the best way to motivate people. And to this, I say, he leaves a legacy of motivation because you're here and you're proof of that. Thank you.
I can say good afternoon now because it's 12:01. All thing we can do is just say now, first to tell the Lord thank you for allowing this event to happen. All right. And so many people played a part in making this happen. We wouldn't dare try to call everyone's name because there we would definitely miss someone. We also want to take notice today also for all the different representatives that's here, if they're not here, that offices are here, both state level, local level, and on a national level. Anytime you can bring local, state, and national level elected officials and appointed officials to an event like this, that says a lot right there. That all of us can come together for the common cause. And one thing I'd like to do, I'll ask Gene Richmond, my cousin, to come up and stand down there. And because I want to tell you how we got here. And I got about 13 pages, but I'm going to kind of condense it. That's all right? Put my folder. Oh, I didn't bring my folder. As the superintendent, as you heard earlier, the superintendent stated, a little over a year and a half ago, we started on this project. The way we got started, me and my cousin here, we wanted to do something to commemorate the class of '69 50th year anniversary this year. So she said something like putting up a marker or something. And we took that, from that seed that was planted from a marker, to go to make sure that we could have something that would be permanent, that would last even after our lifetime. And as you get ready in a few minutes, as we get ready to unveil this marker, many are going to ask the question, why this and why that? But after 16 rewrites, what we started out with, and some 16 rewrites later, is what we ended up with. Because every layer that we went through made some changes. We went to the superintendent, to the board of education, they made some changes. When we went to our committees, they made some changes. But the end result, when we got to approving authority in Jackson, they made the final changes. So what you see today was an effort that was done by this community.
That's called getting it right.
Amen. So we're so thankful for what has happened. And then, like I said, the alumni committee and everyone else, thank you for the part that you played. All the different families, the Lehman family, the McLeod family, all families, we thank you. And we thank everyone for coming out, especially on a holiday weekend at high noon. Hot, to recognize this event. And one thing about it, you are part of history because it won't happen but one time. And once it happened at one time, it cannot be repeated. Someone said, well, East Side had theirs up first. They might have put theirs up first, but one thing they could not put down, first. Hernando Central was the first. And so we can always have that distinction as being first. And a lot of sweat and tears made this happen for this school to survive. And we want to thank, our parents and the ones that came on before us. And so we have a legacy. We have some things that we must carry on to our younger generation. The scripture said, once they got on the other side, he said, remind them, ain't that right? They took the stones and they said, remind them of what happened on the other side. So what we tell you today, all the alumni, all the friends, all the family, remind others of what happened on the other side. So that when you remind them, they can look forward and do things great. So So with these things, we say again, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll now move on to the unveiling. We're going to ask the family and the committee if they'll make a horseshoe around as we get prepared to unveil.
Okay, we gotta get
Mark.
I need to come and visit for Portis.